Welcome to my channel. I'm Andy, and in today's video we're going to discuss 2 easy methods to zero your red dot optic on your AR-15 rifle. Depending on whether you have an AR-15 with backup sights that sit behind your optic, or whether you have a rifle that does not have backup sights sitting behind your rifle, or you might have 45-degree offset sights sitting off to the side. Now I know my thumbnail says red dot 0 and I have a holographic optic next to it in the thumbnail.
So for all those that just have to point that out to me in the comments, I'm going to use those two terms interchangeably in this video.
So let's get started. All right, the first method that we're going to use is for those rifles that do not have backup iron sights sitting behind their optic. Now this is a little bit harder to do, but it's just as effective as the other method that we're going to discuss a little later on. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get to the range is you're going to want to actually strip your rifle, take your charging handle and your bolt carrier group out of the rifle. You're going to want to set your target. You're going to want to place your upper receiver onto a rest with a solid backrest. And then what you're going to do is you are going to actually look through your barrel and line up your target. And then once you've got the target lined up, you're going to look through your optic and see where your red dot is pointed in relation to the target. So it's very important not to move the rifle. You're going to move the red dot onto the target, confirm back through the barrel, take a shot down range, and then move your optic from there. So I've had the opportunity to go out to the range and do that. Let's take a close-up look as to how that would look before we get to the range, and then I'll take a shot and show you what my results were at the range and how close we were to getting the rifle zeroed with the first shot. Once we get to the range, we're going to set out our target. I would suggest a target with something bright like an orange dot. It'll be easier to see through your barrel. And then what we simply do is we look through our barrel, and you may see something like this, where you first look through the barrel and then you gently move it over and get your target centered in line with the barrel. And once we've done this, we're going to pick up our head and raise it and look through our EOTech optic, which is going to look something like this. And once we have that done, we're going to check to see where our red dot is on the target. So if our red dot is up here, we're simply going to use our left and right and up and down elevation controls and move the red dot onto the center of the bullseye. And then we are going to reassemble our rifle and take a shot at the target and see where it hits. So let's see what happened when I did that at the range. This is the target I used at the range. It actually works out pretty good with these orange circles because when I put my barrel onto it, I could generally get it pretty lined up quickly. So I took a shot and my shot hit right here, with the middle being maybe right about here. So within a half an inch from the middle, I was able to get my shot just by looking down the barrel and moving the red dot then over to the center of the bullseye. The second method we're going to talk about today is for those rifles that have backup iron sights located behind your red dot optic. Now, this method is a little bit quicker, a little bit more efficient to get you on target, but it is no less effective than the other method that we just went over. So in this method, we have to zero our iron sights at, let's say, 25 yards. I'm not going to go over how to do that. I'll do that in a separate video. We then look through our iron sights and we move our red dot optic to the top of the front sight post to get an approximate zero. Now you can't just rely on that. You actually have to shoot the rifle and see where that red dot hits. You need to zero these sighting systems independently. First zero the irons, then zero the red dot. So let's take a closer look at what that would look like before we get out to the range. And then I also went out to the range and did this method, and we'll see how close we get to the 0 at 25 yards with this method. When we are zeroing with iron sights at the range, we simply look through our rear peep sight, center that peep around our target, and use our front post right here and place it in the middle of our bullseye where we want to hit. And then we take our red dot sight and we move that sight down to the tip of our front post. And then once we are there, we will take a shot and see where our impact occurs. This is the target I used after zeroing my iron sights and moving my red dot onto the tip of the iron sight. As you can see, it was a little bit off. The iron sights were kind of in this area right here, and so I was probably within an inch or so or less of the tip of the iron sight. But this also goes to show you why you need to verify your red dot and not just rely on putting the red dot on the tip of the iron sight. Again, in both of these situations where I shot without the backup iron sights and with the backup iron sights, I would correct and move these more towards the middle, and you can decide whether you want to take 3, 5, or 10 shots to verify your 0. And we'll probably talk about that in another video as well as to what the best method is. For more videos on the AR-15, including long-range shooting, please check out my channel. God bless and guide America. Have a good one, and thanks for watching.